And we're back.
And we're back.
We're back. What's
We
going
are
on,
back.
y'all? We got Clone Force 23, Alex and Alec, also known as Roger Mack, here today, bringing
What
you
up?
another Set 3 video. Um, this one is
Who
kind of,
we talk about?
we're talking about Yoda today. This one has been, honestly, the one I've been the most excited about, just with the leader alone. I feel like this one's been the most controversial talking to people, whether or not it's like a blowout crazy leader or just like a suboptimal, like you might find something fun with it leader. And I'm in the camp of this guy's gonna be broken.
Yeah, I think so too. It's either like they people put him in S tier or they put him in D tier.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's like there's no in between.
Yeah.
But those of you who haven't read on Yoda yet, he is a 4/9 that comes out on 7, so it's later. Um, but his leader ability is if a unit left play, which there's a lot of ways for that to happen. Um, you draw a card and then put a card from your hand to the top or bottom of your deck. So that immediately tells me that's a control leader, and I feel like Yoda might be one of the more top contenders for control if
Yeah.
played correctly, because the advantage of being able to get the cards you want can make a big difference, especially in a control game. Um, and then when he flips, you discard the top of your deck and you defeat a unit equal to the cost of that card. So you could have, that unit could be the same cost, but if it's, juiced up with equipments or experience and shield tokens, it doesn't matter. You just defeat it and your leader comes out, which that feels like an extremely impactful change.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to flip my leader and play a removal spell in the same turn. Is that cool? Sure.
I mean, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
So the way I kind of thought about this leader was just the hard control aspect. You control, you craft your hand, and then you get yourself in a position to flip Yoda and drop bombs, which doesn't sound like a terrible strategy.
No,
Um,
that sounds great.
and when you're talking removal, you just go double blue because Vigilance is undeniably an amazing card.
Yeah, why not play Vigilance for 4 and start
Exactly.
there?
Like, I was okay playing for 6, but now I play for 4.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Um, Something that's interesting that I've been playing around with is with the fact that you can choose which card goes on the top of your deck, allows you the opportunity to brush off an old card from set 1 that nobody plays, which is You're My Only Hope.
Oh yeah.
So
It's been waiting for a leader
it's
for
been
two
waiting.
sets.
Oh yeah,
For two
and
sets, just it needed something to make it good.
I think this is the best opportunity right now because that allows you a turn 2 5 drop, which nobody's mad about.
Nope.
Um, and there's some pretty good ones in blue. Um, Namely Kiadi Mundi coming out as a 5/7 with its coordinate of drawing 2 if your opponent plays 2 cards, which feels really good later in the game when people are trying to either keep up with what you're doing, or if you're playing a more aggro player and who's playing more cards later on. If you get this guy out early, you might run into some more outs. And then Ray is nice because it's 4/7 big health and then can restore for your other units. And if you're lucky enough to get Kiadi out as well, you can get the shield token off of it too since it's mono blue.
Nice. Yeah.
But you've got then you've just got all the other 5, 6, 7. You just got your 5, 6, 7 Jedi's, which are all just extremely impactful whenever they hit the field. So you got to run the
Yeah, man.
lightsabers. Early game feels like a lot of restore, which is nice because you can kind of sustain longer. Queel is great to draw more cards. Um, but couple of cooler new cards. Perilous Position. This one might end up in the sideboard depending on the type of gameplay we see, but the ability to both decrease the stats on a unit and exhaust them is exactly what control leaders like. To be able to slow down the game and make those units less impactful.
Right. Also just enables good trades with your low attack units.
Mm-hmm. And
like
then
Yoda being able to take out a K2.
Yeah,
good.
we like that. And then for some of those tricky 2 health spaceships that we see, namely Lurking TIE Phantom, this is another out for that.
Right.
I always hate seeing the 7 Fleet Defender. You can rip that we can rip that even with the shield on there. But the hot tech that we've got in this one is Evidence of a Crime. And that's kind of another underrated card that's going to maybe shine out if we see some things that I'm seeing with set 3, and that's namely a lot of good equipments that are coming out.
Not only just like a lot of good equipments, but like better targets.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just another full set of cards. There's better targets for some upgrades, and so we have Boba's armor. That's a big one.
Yep.
But now we're just getting there's even more that are coming across the horizon, and I think this is a sleeper pick, especially for blue control. Like, definitely not being played at all. Like, I've never seen this card in a list.
I didn't know about it till a week ago. So but being able to move equipments around, like putting an equipment on something seems to be like when a player does that, they're feeling comfortable in their position, or it's the only option they have. So having a response to that can be really impactful to their intended line of play in their head. So then that really kind of messes things up. Some of my favorite targets are General's Blade, for my Jedis. The Boba's armor, absolutely. I'll take a 2/2 is nice, but Boba not having Boba's armor is better.
Yeah. If it was a 3-cost card that said get rid of Boba's armor, it'd still be okay.
I'm 100% willing to put a Boba's armor on my R2 just to make sure it's not on Boba.
Right.
And then the other new yellow equip that could be a problem is Shadowed Intentions. That's the one that they can't be targeted for removal spells, which nobody likes that. So we'll just move that on over to us. We'll take that. Or if you're in a more aggressive state, you can move your own Jedi lightsaber onto your next target and add another 3 damage to your turn. Or,
we love
if you attack with your unit and they feel bold, they drop their unit, you can swap it to your other one and now can kill it. So a lot of great options.
Lots of great options. Can switch the aggro into the late game, which is like what Blue Hero does.
Yeah, because it's like once you have control of the board, then you're just trying to push damage as you do that.
I've said this a lot, and I'll say it again. A Blue Hero, it just feels like you're playing such a fair game. You're playing a good statted card. They don't generally have like a big board impact that turn when you play it, but then the next turn, it's just like if it does not get taken care of, like the Obi-Wan into Luke into redemption in the late game is like such a strong like 3-turn curve that Blue Hero has. And I said, it's just so fair. Like you're playing fair cards. You're not like juicing stuff out. You're not like cheating stuff out or doing some gross aggro play. But now you can in the beginning of the game, and then you still have that to rely on.
Yeah, because those 5 drops earlier on, they're sticking around. Like, there's not a
Yeah.
lot most players are gonna do. Um, you know, you could see an interesting interaction against another control player, but that's also why I've got tech sitting in there right now. It could end up as a side. Something I've thought about, um, depending on who my player is, a potential sideboard. Don't have one right now. I'm not going to worry about that till I get other, till I actually get this deck sleeved up and play somebody. But something I'm thinking about is maybe pulling out the "You're My Only Hope" engine and swapping it in for the mill and going
Oh
with
yeah.
Satine and some big units and using those big units, including your leader, to just start milling out your control player.
Yeah.
Because if you have Satine out and Yoda's doing 5 every time if you wanted to. Because you're not as worried about the restore in a control game. Because it's going to be a lot of back and forth single removal.
Right.
And I'm not so sure if Rivals Fall is going to be. I wasn't 100% on it, and I still don't think I am.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think it just fits into certain decks, but
Mm-hmm.
just straight up hard control, it's almost like you have enough guys to ping something into range of takedown or fell
Mm-hmm.
the dragon or even vigilance defeat. Um, and 6 is so impactful on that turn. Now, against those leaders, it feels really good, but from what we've seen with the meta, you would
Mm.
almost guess I'm not going to see a bunch of 6 cost leaders, right? If you're a
Yeah.
betting man, you're going to say, I'm going to sit across the table from Boba Fett.
Yep.
So holding that Rivals Fall for the turn after they have their flip turn and like do a bunch of stuff to you, it's almost like, oh, yeah, I get rid of that, but then you get to play Fire Spray.
Exactly. And then that's, it's
It's like
just,
too late.
it almost feels too late in most instances where a Vanquish for 5, I'm for that. And
Yeah.
sometimes just later in the game, you just draw that Vanquish and deals with something. But Fell the Dragon feels a lot better in terms of like the removal stuff. Um, yeah. The only cards, yeah, I'm thinking about in terms of like kind of moving around is, the Perilous Position. I feel like that might be for your more aggressive matchups. The Restored Arc doesn't feel as great in as your turn 1 play, but there's also not a lot of other turn 1 plays I'm really for. Like, you could put a Moisture Farmer, but that doesn't feel as great. And some Space Presence is nice over not having
Over
any.
nothing. Yeah.
And the restore value with attack stats is nice.
Yeah, at least you have 2 turn 1 plays that have restore. So
Mm-hmm.
depending what arena you want to get in, you have an option for both.
Yeah, like, against those early aggressive players, that 2-3-4 ideal is, Queel, Yoda, and Vigilance. That's
Right.
a lot of restore capability there. That's gonna hold you
Yeah.
off till um some other removal becomes online, or if you survive and can slap that Obi-Wan down, then you're kind of starting to feel nice.
Yeah, then you're good there. Yeah, it looks great. Looks scary.
Yeah.
And then yeah, if Yoda comes out, it's like, oh gosh.
Ooh, yeah. We like we like this. This might be one of the one deck I try to start out with day one, just to kind of.
Will Alex get his first showcase? His first leader that he deems worthy of trading for a showcase?
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if we're there yet. There's some pretty interesting showcases this next round, but
Yeah.
um, we'll get there. But yeah, if anybody has thoughts about this deck or is thinking the same things I am and wants to share an idea, feel free to add a comment. If you have any questions about the deck or what we're thinking here, drop that in the comments. Otherwise, yeah, just like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Clone Force 23. We're really hyped about set 3, and we're just trying to fuel our habits with more videos and gameplay. So yeah, but
Yeah.
otherwise, we're Clone Force 23, and we're peacing out.
Peace.